Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Blake? What? Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron is here. Welcome back, everybody, for more SPTV, where every day's a great day not to be in a cult. So not a great day for Grant Cardone then. Guys, we're getting into more Grant Cardone meltdown material. And for the record, I want to get this out of the way straight, right in the beginning here. A lot of people expose Grant Cardone because they're in the real estate space and they don't like him. They call out his fraud. A lot of people in the real estate space or the finance space, they want to expose him for the criminal they see him to be. I got to be honest, I don't care about all that stuff. What I care about is that Grant Cardone is one of the number one recruiters and financiers of the international family-destroying human trafficking cult known as Scientology. And that is why I do my Grant Cardone videos. But, all the best to everyone else who does their Grant Cardone videos for their own reasons. That just happens to be my reason. Yesterday, I did a video on this channel called Grant Cardone Retaliates Against FBI SEC Whistleblower. If you haven't seen that video yet, check it out. You'll find it in my live streams from yesterday. I could not believe it when I saw Grant Cardone double down again this morning, attacking the whistleblower and privately emailing the whistleblower with threats. I'm going to share this email with you. Guys, I think Grant Cardone is actually having a bit of a meltdown. He might be having a bit of a relapse. Grant Cardone, when he joined Scientology, he was actually sober. And that is because before Scientology, he had a major drug problem. And as a part of the recovery process from drug addiction, he also refrained from alcohol. Now, so when he joined Scientology, he did not drink. At some point while in Scientology, he somehow became convinced that as long as he didn't touch drugs, he could handle alcohol. I think many people who've been watching Grant closely can say he can't really handle alcohol. And it seems like he was under the influence of alcohol when he sent this email to the whistleblower. That's what I think. You guys can make up your own minds on this. Let me quickly begin by showing you the premise for the video yesterday, which was Grant Cardone on Facebook publicly trashing the confidential FBI SEC whistleblower who about 2 or 3 years ago went to the FBI Miami field office and turned over evidence of Grant Cardone. What the whistleblower believed was evidence of Grant Cardone defrauding Cardone Capital investors. So here's what Grant Cardone posted to Facebook. I guess this was 2 days ago now. Anyone know this goofy dude? Implying Grant Cardone doesn't even know who this guy is. He claims he was my chief marketing officer, claims he raised $50 million for me, claims he's an influential social media genius. He did not raise $50 million. Any genius he might have was never revealed working for me. He has no social following of his own, only worked with us for a short time. Oh, so he did work for you. Only worked with us for a short time before we terminated him. When he was gone, we did not miss him. This is just my opinion and my experience. Do your full due diligence before engaging Brian H. Robb. And for some reason, he uses a photo of Brian when he was very much younger and all this stuff. Guys, in my video yesterday, I already shared with you all of the receipts proving that Brian Robb was, in fact, the chief marketing officer for Cardone Capital. I shared with you the email offering him the job. I shared with you his compensation agreement and all sorts of stuff. That's in the video from yesterday. Okay, and by the way, here's a sort of a better, more updated photo of Brian Robb from his LinkedIn profile. A real person with a real career and real credentials. But Grant Cardone's acting like he's just some kind of internet scammer. Okay, now this morning at about, let's see, it says it was 6 hours ago. So, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, Grant Cardone actually comments on his own post after my video yesterday. More to come. Okay, very interesting. Let me show you the email, the private email that Grant Cardone sent to Brian Robb this morning. And I'm going to read it to you with all the drunken typos that is in the original. Subject, do your thing. Text, Brian, do what you got to do. I look forward to confirming you, the person who mislead investigators and wasted taxpayers' money on completely unsubstantiated and what has not been proven to be absolutely false allegations. Has not been proven? It seems like it should be has now been proven. There are no less than 3 typos in that one sentence. Okay, He continues, also, I encourage you to get as public as you think you benefits your efforts. Wow. The abuse being done to the English language here is phenomenal. He continues, I have infinite amounts of energy for people like you who seek to damage my reputation, my business, or my brand. Bring it on, ding dong. In the future, you don't have to go through my lawyer. You can email me directly. Good Lord. I want to say something here. Brian Robb has never once in the 3 years since he went to the federal authorities as a whistleblower, blowing the whistle on Grant Cardone and Cardone Capital, never once has Brian Robb spoken or commented publicly about his evidence or allegations or accusations or his opinions about Grant Cardone or Cardone Capital. He has been a confidential whistleblower to the FBI and the SEC. And the investigation into Cardone Capital has been ongoing this entire time, has not been closed at all. In fact, it's been moved from the investigation being done out of the Miami office. It's moved up to the New York office. So when Cardone says on his Facebook post, more to come. Oh, by the way, you might go, what is it that prompted Grant Cardone to make that Facebook post after all of these years? Well, in addition to being a confidential informant to the federal authorities, a confidential whistleblower, I should say, about 8 weeks ago, Brian Robb was subpoenaed in the class action lawsuit against Cardone Capital and testified under oath in a deposition in that lawsuit. And I believe it was Grant Cardone finding out that Brian had testified under oath in this lawsuit that pushed him over the edge and caused him to publicly attack someone who has never publicly attacked him. Until Grant Cardone did this Facebook post 2 days ago about Brian Robb, unless you worked with Brian Robb, you had no idea who he was. He's not out there going on podcasts, doing interviews about Grant Cardone or Cardone Capital. He's never said a word publicly. Okay, so when you have this email here, my God, I look forward to confirming. Now I'm going to take the typos out. I look forward to confirming you're the person who misled investigators and wasted taxpayers' money on completely unsubstantiated and what has now, which is probably what he meant to say, what has now been proven to be absolutely false allegations. Really, Grant? Why do you look forward to that? It already sounds threatening and menacing. I encourage you to get as public as you think benefits your efforts. I have infinite amounts of energy for people like you who seek to damage my reputation. Really, Grant? I thought you said that you ignore the haters. What does that mean? You have infinite amounts of energy. It sounds very threatening. It sounds like you're saying you have unlimited amounts of time and money to spend destroying and defaming people who blow the whistle on your very likely to be a criminal enterprise. Now, why do I say likely to be a criminal enterprise? Guys, just this morning, real estate and financial influencer Meet Kevin dropped a pretty incredible 30-minute expose on Grant Cardone's 28 funds and the incentive structure that exists amongst these funds, none of which Cardone has ever closed. Makes a pretty strong argument based on the incentive structure of all these funds and what Grant is allowed to do for how he is running what some may call a Ponzi-like investment scheme. Some. I'm not saying that's what I call it. I'm saying that's what some might call it. Okay, so here's Meet Kevin's channel. It's got about 2 million subscribers. And here's the video that Kevin dropped on the top left here. The implosion of Grant Cardone, Bitcoin margin calls. I watched this video this morning. It was absolutely incredible. I just, considering I did 2 Grant Cardone videos yesterday, I got this updated information from the whistleblower this morning. And then Kevin dropped his Grant Cardone expose. I was like, I don't know. It seems like the timing on all this is working out. So guys, I don't want to make this video any longer than it has to be. Grant Cardone is absolutely melting down. It seems like if he is running a Ponzi-like scheme with his 28 Cardone Capital funds, as soon as he starts winding down these funds, any of them, or as soon as he gets any margin calls on these, on any of his investments, particularly his Bitcoin investment, Meet Kevin does a much better job explaining how this thing might start crumbling down. And it explains why Cardone doesn't sell and doesn't close funds. I think Grant Cardone, being reminded that there was a former high-level executive, chief marketing officer, who had inside access to all of the books. And by the way, in yesterday's video, I also showed you the response that the whistleblower put in the comments section of Grant Cardone's Facebook post, for the first time ever, publicly revealing what types of information he provided to the federal authorities. If I was Grant Cardone, I would be very, very nervous. Very, very nervous. In fact, when Gary Brecka, one of Grant Cardone's business partners, I'm not quite clear if they're only former business partners now or if they got back into bed with each other. When Gary Brecka and Grant Cardone were parting ways very publicly, I did an interview with Gary Brecka. And in that interview, Gary revealed for the first time that Grant Cardone admitted to him that he was under investigation by the federal authorities and knew he was under investigation, because the information from the whistleblower was actually, some of the information from the whistleblower was that the feds had actually inserted undercover agents as employees into Cardone Capital and was wiretapping the office, collecting the garbage and copying records. And so some of the implication and all that was Cardone might not have even known that he was under investigation. But Cardone admitted to Gary Brecka that he did know he was under federal investigation. And that information was never revealed to any of his investors. Seems like that would be material information. We now know this investigation is still ongoing. If I was Grant Cardone, I would be very, very afraid. I would also probably consult my attorney before publicly retaliating against a protected federal whistleblower. But what do I know, guys? I just grew up in a cult. Okay, that's it for this. This is going to be a short video. More to come later this evening. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.